Exiles, how we doing? It's Mr. A2G and we are back playing some Saga of Survival. How we doing, guys? Okay, so you guessed it, look what we're doing. We are doing another montage, and this time it is the Chieftain Stronghold. So we're going to go through a few zones, loot up all the chests there. I've already taken the liberty and I've already taken out all the enemies in the zones. So basically what all that you guys are going to do, if you've just seen this for the first time, is loot basically all the chests there, what it has to offer, and we'll see what we get. Okay, so with that out of the way, just sort of thought I thought I should start inside the stone camp base here, so just so we can sort of get this out of the way nice and quickly. Oop, keep doing that, which I shouldn't be, but that's okay. And I'll just grab, oh, you know what, grab the whole lot. Well, why not? Okay, so we'll go back into the grotto here and we will grab the few chests that are inside this zone here. So we'll just get out of the way here and we'll get to the main one just over here and we'll see what we get out of this. So guys, if you're new to the channel or to the video itself, make sure you go ahead and like and comment if you did really like the video here, but also most importantly, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos that we put up on the channel. Ooh, we've got some elm log there, very good start. The more elm, the better. Yeah guys, so if you are new, make sure you stick around. Got a lot more content coming up. If you want to see any of my previous videos, check out the playlist of Saga of Survival, and you guys can stay up to date with all the antics that I get up to with all of my videos. So far so good. We're actually off to not a bad little start there. Might just take the water with me just in case. So I got a couple of keys, and we've also got a elm log as well, so good start. Hopefully we get some more intricate items as well. As you can see, I did die before whilst playing and killing all the undead and bone breakers of the zone. I had two bone breakers at me, and then all of a sudden I found an undead in amongst that too, so wasn't able to get out alive, unfortunately. But you know, it is what it is. All of us are not immune to that type of brutality, but what do you guys do? Okay, anyway, so we'll get this one out of the way real quick and we'll see what we get on top side as well. Alright, so I've already pretty much killed everything top side as well. I've broken down the walls, so basically you won't need to see me hitting any sort of walls here. We're just going to loot the hell out of it as quick as we can, obviously, because I want to get over to the next zone, and yeah, we'll take it from there. So this should be the mason's table. If anything, we should hopefully get some stone blocks, or maybe some room tablets, whatever they're called, or whetstones. Whetstone is the most preferred option at this point in time. Okay, excuse me. And hopefully here we should get some planks, or if not, oak planks would be the way to go with this. And let's have a look. Yeah, oak plank, there we go, perfect. Alright, so far we're in the middle of the XP challenge as well. My clan already's got the standard loot. We're already up to the second tier, so getting along there. We've got time of this recording about just under 24 hours before it resets, so hopefully everyone sort of bands together and pulls through. They usually do, so which is good. But from there, we should be able to, get the next stage. We won't get anywhere in terms of epic or legendary or anything like that, unfortunately. It's just too much. You have to constantly pretty much play, grind 24/7. It is what it is, unfortunately. But you also need full total commitment from every single player, so being all 30 of them. And if you do the math, you sort of got to do anywhere in excess of at least 100,000 experience points for this particular challenge, that is. with regards to what the minimum requirement would be to try and get any sort of headway over to that legendary status that you can take the lot and see what type of loot that it sort of holds. So far we haven't gotten that way yet to see if there's what type of sort of loot there might be there, but we'll get there eventually. It's just one of those things. I think at this point now that clans have been out a little while, I think we might need to see some changes, I think, with clans, and I think that's probably a good talking point for today's video. Pretty much wanting to sort of cover off what I sort of started in the previous video, on my Friday video there, just with the preparation of this particular event, sorry. And yeah, so I think it's probably high time now that we should be looking at the possibility of either increasing the clan the clan amount. So basically, actually this has changed. There used to be some till fields here. Yeah, so basically with that being said, I reckon they should be increasing the capacity of the clan. You know what, and I reckon probably even up to 50 would be a decent size, especially if we're going to go through these types of clan missions that require you to get anywhere between 2 to 3 million experience points. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. And as much as we want to have every single player at this point trying to get pretty much all the loot, or get the minimum requirements so they can get all the loot, it's going to be a massive feat. And I just feel like it's something that it's very difficult for everyone to sort of participate in. And don't get me wrong, there are a lot of people out there that can do that sort of stuff. And don't get me wrong, it's not more or less I'm calling people out to say, look, you guys aren't good enough or anything like that. I mean, I got to be respectful. Every clan leader and probably clan member needs to be respectful to the next person that's in the clan. And what I mean by that is player activeness, the ability to hold your own. I think that's probably the best way of saying it. And what I mean by that is, we've all got a sort of job to do, and if we're not meeting that prerequisite there, it's got to be up to the leaders to make a call. Do you want to have basically a clan where you're getting the same type of loot and you're not anywhere advancing to a point where excuse me, is it viable, or is it worth doing the clans? And I think in a sense it is kind of like a delicate situation, because you obviously don't want to upset anyone or anything like that, to say, look, do we want to just start shipping out people if they're not playing to the cause, or just cycle until you get a good batch of people? Because I mean, evidently, as time goes on, you're gonna have to, regardless. People will start playing less and less due to their own reasons, personal commitments, things like that. And then eventually it gets to a point where, okay, you sort of got to ship them off and move on to the next one in line that's only just started playing the game, or who's really active and they want to participate. Anyway, we've already looted the first zone. So let me head over to the next zone and we'll continue on with the conversation, alright? Be one sec, guys. Let's get at it. Okay, so this one's a little bit different in the map generated seed. So I think there's about 3 or 4 different maps that are available with this one here. So at least it gives you guys a bit of a better understanding, a better look at what type of map that you can expect to get from this, and what type of loot that you might be able to get from it, more importantly as well, at the end of the day. So hopefully by looking at this type of video, or even the other montage videos that I've done in the past, hopefully they sort of show or give you a better indication as to what to expect, and what will be to be expected, I guess, of the actual zone itself. So hopefully that, you know, this will help you guys at the end of the day. Still nothing out of them. Okay, so we'll go back down into the grotto, and yeah, and just so you know, picking up from the previous conversation before we cut from the video beforehand. So yeah, look, I'm hoping that the devs, and I did actually express the concern that I had in the previous video, and what I sort of would like to happen, and hopefully they sort of action it. And I know some of the other influencers are doing asking the same type of questions as well, and this is more particular, more skewed to the activeness of each clan member, and more of a better representation on how can we sort of better monetize our clan's activeness, and by individual, and not as a whole, but more of as an individualization. So for us, I think it would be best if we sort of keep it as a leader function, and not so much a or like a public function, so that everyone can see who has or who hasn't been active and all that sort of stuff. So I think that might be the better way of doing things. So at least this way, the clan leader will have full total discretion as to who is going to stay and who might be on their way out. And look, it's more so to the guys that do put in 110, 120, even maybe 150% of their time and effort to contribute. I mean, I know that's a full quality bow, but I really don't need the bow. I've got other weapons I can use, so sorry guys if you're not too happy about that, but I'm going to leave that behind. So it is what it is. But yeah, I think it's more so for the guys that do put in all that extra effort, and we don't want anyone to miss out, especially for the guys that do put in their you know, their time and donate all that time and energy spent to try and help out their clan and their teammates as well. So you know, and eventually if it still continues and no one's sort of helping pulling their own weight, you know, people are going to get, you know, frustrated, they're going to get demotivated, and, you know, firstly they might leave the clan. You know, they might even like the clan at the start, but, you know, they might like the people who they speak to, and they might have, you know, relationships that they sort of start up, but then when it sort of comes down to it, you know, how can you stick around in a place where you're not, you know, getting support, or you're not being helped out and all that sort of stuff? So really it's a catch-22. You know, like, how can you sort of, you know, keep going with something and you can't sort of you know, like, you can't really sustain yourself, I guess, in a sense, and it just sort of, you know, falls apart by the end of it, and it's a shame, really. So this is where I feel, you know, to sort of keep things moving along, keep it fresh, you know, we should have the ability to know who's been logged in, and the last time that they've logged in, kind of thing. So at least, you know, we as leaders can sort of give an overall impression of the status of their own clan, and then make calls based upon that. So I've sort of mentioned or referenced like a little node system where, you know, you have like a red, yellow, green, and then silver. And, you know, red particularly means that you sort of are very, very inactive for the most part. You may have participated in one out of, say, 3, for example, of the last clan missions, and, you know, and it should show, did we meet or not meet minimum requirements, you know, out of those 3. And then you've got like your yellow, where they sort of, you know, they either participate, you know, for most of the 3, say in the last 3 runs, but then also, you know, sort of give us info based on if they made it or not, you know, at the same time. So, you know, like, I feel like something like that might be a good little system for them to sort of implement. Like, I get it, it'd probably take a little while for them to do that type of implementation, and it's not something that can be, you know, flicked over by a flick of a switch, or, you know, implemented over the night. So it sort of takes time. It is a mechanic of all things, so you sort of still have to respect that, and that I do totally respect. So I mean, as clans sort of evolve and get on, and if they're still wanting to implement PvP, you know, shortly, you know, in the interim, or you know, within the next few months, from what they're saying, you know, things like this, you know, as a base should be looked at as well, as opposed to implementing more content. And don't get me wrong, more content's always good. Never say no to content, I guess, at the end of the day, but there's also things, you know, like the clan system that may need to be polished up a little bit more. It's probably the best way of sort of explaining it, I guess, in a sense. So I'm guessing the polish side of things may need to sort of, you know, come into effect and give us users and players a little bit more extra, you know, support, I guess, in a sense. And I think that's probably the biggest thing I sort of wanted to go over with today's video whilst doing the looting here, as you guys can see. Let me know what you think so far at this point in time. We'll definitely do a review with everything that we've done, or what we've looted today as well. I think I'm probably only going to do one more zone, and I think we'll call it the video thereafter. And it's only purely because it's just, this zone is so big, so many places to loot, so it's a bit excessive, I guess, doing every single barrel, chest, smelting kiln, everything in between. So yeah, I think it just sort of gets to a point where we can only do so much, I guess, at the end of the day. I'm actually going to do that. Should have done that in the first place, but what do you do? Okay, can I... Yep, cool. Should be able to get this without being interrupted. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think about the whole clan situation. Are you guys in agreement with it? If not, I know I spoke about this in the other video. Maybe everyone that's probably watching this video may or may not have seen it. So trying to give a bit of voice for reasoning here, that's all. If you guys want to read it, pause the video, have a look at it. Starting to rack up a few of those as well, which is good. So that's another interesting thing. I'm actually really pleased with the whole lore system with our ambassadors here. So yeah, I'm hoping to discover all 70 of each sort of faction system here, to you know, so we get a little bit more context into the game. Not too sure if all the notes or scriptures are added into the game at this point, but I'm hoping that they all are, and eventually we can rack them all up and pretty much, you know, get the lot. But what I was also thinking about that as well, maybe, now I'm a bit lazy with this, so I do apologize, but I know a couple of people have pointed out that my Discord link is not working, so I do apologize about that. So I'm going to have to sort of fix that up fairly soon, and we'll get that back up and running again. But also I'm thinking about maybe getting you guys to help contribute to the whole scriptures for all the factions there, and so we can get a full compile of each faction, all the notes, and at least that way we can have that somewhere that's easily readable and everyone can see. But you know, we'll get into that, you know, as time sort of goes on. Anyway, completed the second zone. I'm going to duck out, de-loot, come back to the third zone, and we'll finish everything off. So bear with me, guys. Alright, exiles, this is the third zone, last zone too. Let's hope, hopefully the third time's the charm, and we'll get some decent loot out of this one. So far, nothing too crazy, I would like to think. Nothing out of the ordinary to say, well, you know, totally worth it kind of thing. But aside from getting more elm and steel, bars are always a good, you know, a welcoming thing, I guess. It's more, you know, I welcome that. That's not a problem. Always happy to get steel and elm for the most part. I know you guys, a lot of you guys do want elm to become a thing as well at the same time. So, oop, no, damn it, forgot to get the room table. Let's just go back in there. My bad, guys. We'll quickly have a look. I don't think we're going to get anything out of it so far. 2 out of 3 hasn't got anything. You might get the Room of Nature tablet. I get nothing out of that. Anyway, all good. You know, you don't know if you don't try, basically, at the end of the day. So it's just one of those things. Try your luck. Hopefully you get lucky, and then that's it. Alright, so we'll head over here. Hopefully we'll get some decent loot from this one. Just going to quickly heal up. Definitely don't want to die just by trying to loot things, so yeah, it's the last thing you want to happen, especially, you know, dying from enemies. You're dying from fixated enemies like those traps there, which obviously it's going to be a little bit on the embarrassing side. Okay, so some more oak and heavy pelt, I believe it is. Excuse me, and let's see what we get out of this one here. So guys, if you made it this far, thank you very much, of course, and don't forget guys, make sure if you liked what you've seen today, make sure you hit that subscribe button, notification bell as well, especially if you're new, but make sure most importantly that you like the video. If you do like it, lets me know how I'm doing, but also it helps the video get up the recommended page as well. So I guess that's, in a sense, that's probably the two birds one stone kind of thing, if you know that that terminology there. Oops, no, don't want to get any of that. We'll get some what's out of here. But yeah guys, I know I'm sort of rambling on about that, but I'm going to leave it for now. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed it, make sure you show some love, that's all. And I'll grab some of that and that. So you might see that I'm sort of grabbing some basic things and all that sort of stuff. That all contributes to the current challenge that we have at the minute. So with that, you know, like getting like nails, your leather and all that sort of stuff, that sort of helps, contributes to all that sort of stuff. So it all helps, it all counts. It's whatever saves you from not went the wrong way, anyway, whatever sort of cuts, you know, certain corners here and there, you obviously want to try and take that, especially if you're on a time limit. Time's of the essence at the end of the day, so whatever I can do to cut corners I will, and if it helps me, it helps my clan, and we push on and progress. Anyway, let's see what we got here. Nope, nothing there. You may notice I was using the water caskets. Very good item to not only craft but also utilize. Crafting because it gains you good XP. You can actually build your own water caskets if you've got the builder's table. Ooh, is that the? Oh, it's a claymore. Got excited for a second. I thought that was a long sword, but it's a good weapon anyway, no doubt. Something that you can't craft, so it's good to use anyway. But yeah, so if you guys have got the ability to craft the water casket, if you craft them up, especially in a stack of 20, gives you a decent amount of XP. And if you also fill them up with water, it's also going to give you a lot more XP as well at the same time. So getting a double whammy is probably, you know, obviously a good thing, especially you sort of be a little bit more proficient with it at the same time. Set yourselves up before either the start of this type of challenge, the XP challenge in particular, and you know, at least you sort of get a head start by your, you know, by actioning the your workstations at an earlier pace, and at least that way you sort of get a head start. So I normally would try and craft a whole lot of things up beforehand before the challenge starts, and when it does start, I just start claiming everything, and then boom, just XP right off the bat. Especially if I don't need them, or if I don't need to use that particular workstation, it sort of works out for me. If it works out for you guys, definitely go ahead and try and use that technique there, because it should help. Should most definitely help you guys. Alright, we'll get these guys here. We're probably already in overtime with all these with these 3 zones, and I was going to try and do a 4th, but I didn't want the video to go too far in you know, into overtime, so I'm going to try and keep it as quick as I can to an utmost minimum. I'll try and do my best, guys. Let's just quickly do a little trick. Pop that there. Very good. Come around here, and we will grab what we've got over here, and we're basically nearly there too, guys. And probably what I'll do as well, as I've done in the past, is once I've finished up looting here, we'll quickly flick over to the base and we'll show off what we got entirely, so you guys get a bit of a summary as well. Over 3 different chieftain locations, the loot that we've got so far. And you know what, for the last couple of videos the loot hasn't been that great, which really is a bit of an annoying thing, but you know, I probably value that more. What do I want to give up? Do I want to give up 4 stone blocks? Nah, it's fine. We'll give up the stone blocks. I still have quite a bit in reserve anyway, so not a worry there. But yeah, I found that every time I do these, I haven't got the greatest loot, so I'm kind of scared doing the next montage, which is obviously going to be the dungeon, and I'll probably talk about more about that probably in my next video as well. I'll just take what I can get there. Not really interested in anything else here. Yeah, I'm just going to leave that behind. Got a stack of everything at home as it is anyway, guys, so I'm not too particularly worried about that. We'll grab what we've got here. And the Guardian can't do nothing at all here, guys. Got that perfect distance. And let's take that. We'll leave that. That's all good. And what do we have here? More clay bars. What do I give up? Yeah, just give up the binding. That's fine. All good. Did I pick up this? No, hang on. Go away. I didn't. Okay, there we go. Just as well. Yeah, nothing interesting there. All the heals and stuff, I'm not too worried about it. I mean, I've got a whole you know, trunk dedicated to heals, so I think I'll be fine. You know, obviously time gets tough, then yeah, you got to sort of make that adjustment there. The water barrel, you know what, I might have to come back for some of these, guys. Don't know if it's going to be worth it. I did want to come back to all these zones as well, because I did want to get all the clay and iron that are in the grotto, and the anthracite as well, so I think that might be the only reason why I'm probably going to go back to all the zones, but we'll see how we go anyway. Absolutely nothing out of the stable. Okay, alright, so plan is we'll head back. I'll quickly show you the loot fruits, and yeah, that will probably call it a video. So bear with me, guys, and you'll see me back in the home camp. Alright, guys, and we are back at home. Let's go take a look at our drop chests. So as you can see, that was part of the first and second runs that we've got here, so you can have a look at the spread that we've got here. So we've got about a few keys, a couple of whetstone, some iron, clay bars, bit of oak, which is good, water barrels, elm. And if we move over to the next chest over here, this was between the second to now third part of the chest looting. So that's basically what we've got. Call it what you will, guys. I'd still call it a mediocre run. Nothing too crazy. I would have liked some of the nice ores that you can get, like the meteorite, the gold, all that sort of stuff, but you know, beggars can't be choosers. Anyway, guys, if you liked it, make sure that you hit that like button, subscribe, all that sort of good stuff. I'm not going to emphasize any more about it anyway, but have a good day, and I will catch you next time.